You know, we've gotten a lot of requests and questions in regards to what's the difference between a signature flute and a traditional flute. Well, we've been making the traditional flute for about 35 years now, and so over the years we've really figured, we've developed it. It's a very wonderful flute in terms of it's got a great voice, it's easy to play, it's accurately tuned. So we've been doing it for quite a few years now, and so we really have been able to put a lot of energy into making changes to get the best possible flute that we can in terms of that series. The difference between a signature flute and a traditional series starts in the physical side of it. A traditional series flute is a 5/8 inch bore, where a signature flute is a 1 inch bore. The larger bore does provide a little bit more fullness, and the signature flute has a different internal mechanism, and here's the reason why. So when you start to blow into the flute here, your air goes down inside, goes up in the fetish, comes across the air passage and across the fipple. What it does, and it creates some turbulence in the process of all that. And I remember I was watching a video around this. It was really interesting. And they took air and they blew it into the flute, but the air had smoke in it. They provided smoke with that. Because when you think about it, you're visualizing the air going straight through, going up and going back out. What was fascinating was the air and the smoke showed that wasn't a straight flow. It created a circular motion, almost like a wave. The smoke was going in circles, and it was like a wave. It was building. So what happens is, as you blow into the flute and you provide the air and the pressure for it, what happens to it within the flute itself creates a certain amount of turbulence. No matter what, there's going to be turbulence. It's just to what degree the turbulence is. And what's important about turbulence is the less turbulence that comes out of the air passage, the better it is in terms of the amount of air that is able to get divided and go in the bore, also the responsiveness. So we've been able to develop in the signature flute an internal mechanism that actually creates less turbulence in the air passage itself. What it does, it creates a really responsive flute. I mean, you're fingering, you notice it, it's instant, boom, it's right there, the note's right there. The other aspect to it is that no matter how you play it, whether you play it quietly or aggressively, it will respond. Because a lot of times when you don't put enough pressure into a flute, it gets real weak and it doesn't really respond very well. So the idea being with the right amount, the least amount of turbulence, it's very responsive all the way around, not just to your fingering, but also to your breath. So it's ideal for someone that really has been playing for a little while, will notice the difference right away. I had an interesting experience. A couple of times, people will look at an A flute, and they were beginners. They hadn't played before. They were just starting out. And they said, oh my gosh, that's a really pretty A. And they were looking at a signature flute. And so they tried them both, the traditional series and the signature flute. And they couldn't really tell the difference. I mean, everybody was like, well, why is that one so expensive? I know it's got a little more decoration now, but it's a lot more money. And because they're not used to playing. So they weren't able to really get the subtlety of it, the subtlety of the responsiveness and the breath control. It was really interesting, and how different it actually was. And for the most part, where someone that's been playing a while really gets the difference, they really understand it, and they get used to it, and they really like it, because it's like if you're a performer, for instance, you want things to be responsive and really easy to play. If you've just been playing a while and you're looking for something that's a little bit more friendly and just so it makes it really easy no matter what you do, that would be the signature flute.